Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders and closet swing traders. We are in a wild market. Hope you guys rested well. Hope you guys are ready to go. Man, this is every day gets crazier. The wild west. Yeah, I agree for sure. Stephen King's in the house. Good morning. We got Andrew in the house. Rock is here. Brandon, Jay, George. A couple of guys still piling in. But yeah, we had bank earnings or Jpmorgan earnings, which they did miss. Not only did they miss, but they stopped the share buyback program. So again, people have reasons to sell stocks for many reasons. There's multiple tax purposes, just trying to take losses, trying to lock in profits. People only buy a stock for one reason. So they did have their share buyback program in place. That's temporarily suspended. Not a good sign for Jpmorgan, or at least what they're probably essentially saying for the rest of the market, or what's to come. So we will see, but it's definitely not a good look. We are, I believe, gapping down quite significantly on. Yep, yeah, we are all under yesterday's range. And as we pull up the SPY as well, we are below, at least for now. We'll see what happens. We still got a good solid 30 minutes before the market opens. We'll go through the SPY, but we are gapping down below yesterday's range on the SPY for right now as well. And you guys were there. You witnessed it. We did have bad CPI numbers, and the market did rally pretty strongly. All of that strong buying is now completely out the window, depending on where we open. But right around here, not a very good look for the market. We have if you guys see on the screen, I actually drew it out probably, a few days ago, but I think I even pulled it up, mentioned it yesterday, where we were actually gapping. We had some kind of a almost bear flag on the SPY itself, and we gapped below that. So that would be our support line, our little uptrend support line, and we gap below it. A lot of support gets retested, and I think we're pretty much off to the races. But anybody that did buy calls yesterday, anybody that bought shares into the rally thinking, okay, maybe this is the bottom, why would you use the catalyst of having 40 years, a 40-year high of inflation to call the bottom? I'm not sure. I know Jim Cramer was out there flaunting that it is the bottom. So technically, realistically, you just go short anytime that happens. That's the you got more puts. Yeah, that's a good strategy to have. Rock says, wait, did earnings? Did we kick off earnings season? Yeah, yep. Banking started the earnings season. So this week, next week, and the one after, the next 3 weeks are going to be all of the earnings coming out. And then after that, we probably have relatively just more continuation. August is nothing too crazy, obviously, besides more news on inflation and stuff like that. But yeah, we are beginning earnings season, and it is upon us. But let's take a look at the SPY. Let's figure out some targets, if we can come up with any. Again, we are just not looking good. Let me do trading view screen, and we'll just start with the daily as well. Let me make this one bigger. New share. We'll run through some of the stocks that we look at, and then obviously if there's anything else you guys want to take a look at as well. But you can see on the SPY, this is the daily chart. Again, I'm using all of the VPOCs, and I'm using a lot of the little pockets of volume that come in. And right now we are almost dead smack in the middle of this one, which did have high volume, not as high as it was up here, but we do have some. Realistically, if we start breaking down on the SPY, there's not a lot of interest. Maybe one little spike somewhere at 345.76. Otherwise, we have 330 in sights on the SPY. So I know Brandon said he's buying some puts. I agree. This market, we had with today's open, a big gap and go in the SPY itself. We broke this little uptrend and retested it pretty much on the same day. So we just need a little bit more selling, and we start getting into, like, once we start hitting this 371 again, we start breaking this little pivot that saved us last time. There's zero in the way to a much bigger drop still. So we will see. It's Kramer's 7th time calling the peak for inflation. He's trying to get out all his calls to get that broken clock size. If I was Jim Cramer, I would be doing the same thing. I would just keep calling the bottom. Eventually, you're going to be right, and then that's the one that gets added to his commercial in the beginning of his show. Jim Cramer correctly calls the bottom of the market. Yeah, but what about the other 20 times? It's okay. Eventually, we got it. So we'll see. Let's get some levels on the SPY for us today, because I don't think today we hit 330. That will be a pretty insane day for the market. We have some volume higher than where we're at now, so that probably at this point will act as some type of resistance, I would assume. Again, I think even at open, buying some puts, maybe not loading the boat just in case we get some kind of a bounce, maybe get some better pricing. But if you're buying some puts with time on it, it honestly doesn't, a couple dollars here and there probably wouldn't matter. But yeah, we have now some more of that volume, which is going to be some type of resistance in the way. We are holding right now at or just below a little VPOC level. So the next probably immediate level down, I would see us getting to 372.33 if the selling starts picking up, or we start breaking at 372.23. The next untested, by the way, we have not tested that yet. 367.13, which could be in line for today. It's possible. We have one little VPOC over here, which was retested at some point. So that was retested. We have actually a gap over here that did not get filled. 367. That's where I'll be looking for. Brandon's already got Tom Petty queued up. I like it. It makes sense. It makes some sense. Let's see. We got the Qs, which so all you guys that answered Jeremy Newsom's trivia question correctly. He said, what have I been saying? I'm buying some puts on since May. And a lot of you guys got it, which is good. It means you guys are paying attention. So Jeremy has puts on the Qs, and rightfully so. Qs holding up a little bit better than the SPY, only in the sense that we're not breaking the low of the day yet. So maybe tech is a little bit stronger, and when we get to AMD, we'll probably see why as well. But we are breaking some decent levels. We have a POC from yesterday. The last POC from yesterday before, I think we probably get a little free fall today, is right around 282.96. Once we break that, there's really nothing in the way till roughly 280.66, and then we'd be looking at 279. Again, I don't know if that one happens today. 279, we'll see, but that would be a relatively big move. 279.20. That would be a target that I'd be looking for, though. And if we flip it back to the daily chart just to see where we're at, Thomas says a lot better financials and energy a week. Yeah. A lot of that's going to revolve around the Jpmorgan news, for sure. But let's zoom out a little just to see in a longer picture where we're at with things. And scroll this over. There we go. So right now, pre-market was sitting right here. We have a little bit of some volume might try to hold us up. That's exactly where we got that rejection last time. And if we start breaking down that to an intermediate point, probably not till probably take us down to about 274.01, and then almost our last saving grace is 268.39. Then we start getting smaller and smaller volume as we go, so these are going to be a little bit weaker as we drop. But 264.27, and then just recession, I guess. I don't know what comes after that, but not looking good. Gregory Hill says 0. Yeah, if you're buying Qs with a strike price of $1, I'm not saying do it or don't do it, but probably not that low. Maybe maybe I like to think a little bit more positively about the U.S. economy and say, we survive at some extent, but yeah, it's not looking good though, for sure. Tesla on the daily for Tesla. Again, right now we have all of our bigger volume institutional buying. We're still in the pocket technically, and a lot of this area might be a spot where some people might be interested in buying down here, selling up here scenario. So we still could be saved a little bit, but if we start breaking down, we have zero volume until realistically probably about 445 on Tesla, and if we hit the peak volume, that's 420. So Elon Musk, I believe, said he did want to take Tesla private at 420. He might have that shot still. So probably good to save some money on that Twitter purchase, and maybe he takes Tesla private. We'll see. But he might get his shot. Right now, again, we're going to have a lot to get through on Tesla. My bad. That's one of my alerts. Actually, so we're still holding up. Okay, never mind. Pre-market, I have up at 704.45. So we actually have that as a little bit of support for right now. So we'll see if that breaks or if Tesla holds. And again, Qs are a little bit stronger. They're not as weak. We'll see as earnings season starts to develop, though. Some big names: Google, Amazon, Tesla, Nvidia, AMD. As those guys, Square probably, but as those guys start to report, we'll start to see probably more volatility in the Qs. Vidman's in the house. What's up, Vidman? All right, let's check out PayPal. I know it's not on the list, but it's just my next ticker I have. So we'll take a look at that one. Look at all the resistance at this point. We're at a very low level for some of that volume. We do have a lot of resistance in the way. Honestly, this thing probably doesn't start to get going until it starts breaking 140. And yeah, we have we're on the edge from another big potential drop on PayPal. So we'll see. Let's flip this over back to the hourly chart. And I don't think we did the hourly on Tesla, so we'll go back to that too. Pre-market on PayPal, we have sitting at 70.65. Kind of in the middle of everything. So to the downside, we have maybe a little support coming in at roughly $70.48. So it's not too much to the downside. To the upside, we have probably some kind of resistance coming in at 71.04, and then if that does break, 71.40. So again, very, very small move to the upside. Let me just pull up Tesla real quick on the hourly to get today's levels. Tesla, yeah, out of the gate. I mean, it was a big drop, but again, if we were probably to do a fib on this, we're sitting roughly, I would assume, right around that 50% retrace. So it could have a little bit of support somewhere right around here. Maybe that's 701. We still got psychological number of 700. We'd have to break through. And then once we really start breaking through, probably 697.93. That would be my spot where I think we just start plummeting on Tesla. But we'll see. Right now, it is holding a little bit. Jpmorgan, Cisco, Hal looking like decent bearish gap and goes. Yep. So we'll take a look. Jpmorgan. Yeah. Well, it's like nothing in the way from holding this, and them canceling a share buyback program. Not good. Yeah, it looks like a decent little gap and go. And let's pull out the daily charts. Right where we're at right now, we are in a zone where there is nothing really stopping us until probably closer to 97.79. So that would be, again, this thing has a lot of room to the downside. The next first target, I guess, would be somewhere around 105. And then if that breaks, there's legitimately zero until we start making its way down further. So Jpmorgan could be in for a little bit of a bearish day. I would prefer, I mean, maybe the way I like to trade it is if we could get like a green candle first 5-minute candle green, something like that, we could take a breakdown. That would be my favorite trade. I don't know if we get it or not, but seeing some kind of a retest, pushing back into maybe 110 and then taking a break, something like that would be tremendous. But yeah, to the downside is where I'd want to play that one. AMD had some good news. I think Samsung, I didn't quite understand the news, but somehow Samsung is involved and they came out with something to help with the chips that AMD uses. So AMD is, and I believe Nvidia might see some benefit from that too. But you do see a little bit of a different chart at least. So we have a little bit of market is selling off. AMD is actually getting a little bit of a rally. Good for them. They could really use it right about now. We have a previous POC at 79.51. That's going to be the level that we're going to have to breach. And right now we are pushing right into that little resistance. So just wait on it. It is technically a retest gap from close at least, but we're not even gapping outside of yesterday's range. So I do expect this one to fade a little bit. If you do want to try to go long, which just be very careful going long, honestly, in anything, but 78.24 would take us to a decent spot to attempt to go long. And I would just be patient, not exactly get my hands all up in the calls and buying some shares right at open. I would just wait a little bit. We have Nvidia, so same thing. They are actually gapping up a little bit. Still it is a retest gap, but we are still inside yesterday's range, and we are still below the 10 EMA on a daily chart. So be cautious of that. Let's go to the hourly. I would like to see a little bit of a pullback before I look to buy. I'm probably looking for like a 152.87 zone. So it at least looks a little bit different. So we have a little bit more bullish in sentiment. Again, it's based on kind of that Samsung news with the chips. Let's take a look at Apple and then Amazon. Apple looks pretty weak too. So, and I think on the daily chart, I think I looked at this earlier. Let me see the volume on the daily where we're at. I don't think there was much holding us up. Yeah, we're right in a zone where honestly we have a little bit of support, a little bit of resistance. So kind of a tight trading range for now. If we start to really break 140, there's nothing stopping it down back to 132.93. So that's where I would put it. But Apple is still above the hourly, not the hourly, the 10 EMA on a daily chart. So it's got a little bit holding it up still. But it is a pretty weak open. I mean, we are definitely gapping down past all of yesterday's VPOCs. I would look for maybe a little bounce. See if we get a bounce to like 144.50-ish. That's where I would like to attempt to add some puts or start to look to short somewhere around 144.50. That would be a decent zone. And then if we do sell off, which I kind of expect that we do, that would take us to 142.28. HAL, HAL. TSM has a decent gap as well. SPY, CVX, XOM, Jpmorgan, Cisco. All right, we'll take a look at all those as well. HAL, where's the pre-market on HAL? Why do I think this is not the right chart? There we go. Halliburton. That's better. All right, let's see. I was gonna say I didn't think Halliburton was a $1,500 stock. I remember when I was trading at like $8 during COVID, which I probably should have just held. I could have sold now, even still just cleaned up, but I was swing trading it back then. I should have held it. So yeah, we're pretty much in the middle of nothing. Next price target, if this thing starts selling off again, see if we get a little bit of a retest, maybe into this 27.74. We're not too far away from it. It's about 50 cents higher. But if we get into there, that would be a better spot to short. But it does look extremely weak. Yeah, we're cleaning. We're opening underneath that pretty strong pivot as well. This would be one that we might get that green candle at open. Green candle at open, take a break. But yeah, that looks like a I'd be bearish. Obviously, it's not on the list for the 6 stocks that we're trading, but if I was to have any sentiment on Halliburton and probably most things, I would say short. We finally got through Amazon Prime Day, which is 2 days. So the Amazon Prime holiday is over, which I think is a good thing. I mean, it really gives us a chance. A lot of holidays we get caught up on. We try to commercialize everything, and we just kind of really forget the real meaning of the holidays. Which Amazon? Wait, hold on. No, wait, hold on. That entire holiday is for commercializing. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you guys nailed it. You guys nailed it. The entire holiday is built around just shopping. So you guys did not lose the meaning of that one. So anybody that bought on Amazon, way to help participate and celebrate. Still in the upper range from yesterday. Amazon's probably going to be a little bit more of a tricky trade today. To the upside, we're looking at about 110.27. To the downside, probably closer to 109.82. Maybe a little bit lower, 109.46. So we have a little bit of probably some kind of support in there to some extent. And probably not going to be a good focus to look for a trade today. Let's look at some of the other ones that are gapping, since the 6 that we're watching. I mean, besides AMD, which maybe we could play, everything else is a little stuck for the most part. Actually, one more that is on the list, Delta. Let's take a look at Delta today. That one is gapping down. Again, the gap yesterday was horrible, and everything got bought up. This one was still weaker than most things yesterday. We are gapping under a relatively decent VPOC. It is a bearish gap and go. Probably going to have a little resistance back at this 29.03 zone. But if that starts to break, next level 28.74, and then just really off to the races. Not a lot holding it up. I don't think there's very big bullish sentiment to really hold much in the market right now. But especially some of these other names that are weak. Delta would probably be one of them. After they announce a recession that in the US, yeah, I would assume that would prohibit traveling to a lot of places. People in recession, I don't think love traveling as much. And even businesses now, like we couldn't have that before in past recessions. You would at least still have a lot of businesses flying people around. So there was maybe less leisure travel, but business was still. But now you have Zoom, and if a company is struggling, you're like, hey, let's cut costs. How do we do it? Guess what? They're probably going to cut a lot of that travel by Zoom. I don't know. I think Zoom is still way overvalued at the price it's at now. Cisco, so it is a gap down. We have a little bit of support. Just be a little more cautious taking this one short immediately out of the gate, just as we have some volume that could help support this one, bring it up. I'd almost want to see some kind of a retest gap into 42.24. Not saying that's definitely happening or not. It is a pretty mean looking gap, but we have a little bit of that volume, a little bit of support that pushed it up once, twice, and this could be thrice. We'll see. But it might not be a quick drop that we might want. Did we talk about SPY? Yes. So we'll pull it up again because it is a good gap and go on the SPY in general. So SPY, again, we have some type of resistance close to 374.18. The next level down, which was already retested, is this one right here. So that's going to be 372.08, somewhere in that range. And then, but again, that is going to be a weaker level because that was already retested. Once we get down there and break, it's going to be almost a free for all, kind of down to this 367. So somewhere in that 367 would probably be my targets. As long as we don't open up higher than this pre-market, I think that's going to be very bearish. And again, we did trap, I guess, the Jim Cramer fan club. I don't know. I don't know who's buying, but my boy Boeing is a gap and go. Check that one out. Maloney, my setups are ditto for ES. Yeah, futures probably going to be lining up with that as well. So it is gap and go on Boeing. but it is also in yesterday's range still, and it does have some support here. So we have a lot of volume that should give us some kind of support. I would say we got a lot of levels in here that should give us some kind of support. This one probably ends up getting bought up, I would assume. Maybe does nothing at open for a little bit and then starts to take off, but look for at least a retest into that 144.44. And again, I am completely biased because it is my boy Boeing, but we do have a huge volume level. We'd have to break through all of this, which if you want to break through this, we just got to wait for the earnings report, and I'm sure they get crushed. So we'll see what happens. I was going to say we need some kind of catalyst, and then I remembered really quickly we are right in earnings season. TSM. I'm like, what could give a good catalyst to get us under that type of volume? Oh yeah, as soon as they report they didn't sell anything, that would be a good catalyst, I would assume. Like, well, we're gonna get into a different line of work. You're like, oh, okay. TSM, we're actually gapping up on TSM. Again, this is a retest gap. Look for a short, potentially right around somewhere in the 83.45 zone on TSM, as it is technically a retest gap, but we do have a lot of levels up there too. So it's either you want to look for a short around that 83.45 zone. Maybe we get to like 83.77, somewhere in that range would be a decent spot to play the retest. Otherwise, once it comes down to the retest, anywhere in this, if it fully comes back, 81.27 is a decent buy spot. 81.69. Again, TSM is probably gapping up based off of that Samsung news. So the chips have some bullish sentiment, but none of what I've seen so far, except for TSM, is actually gapping really above yesterday's range. Nothing else is really gapping outside of the range, and it's almost gapping into a little resistance. Let me see what other stocks. In YouTube, can you check LMPX? Yep, let's check that one out. LMPX. Automotive Holdings. I mean, they should have some kind of good support, which we just got a bounce off of. So that kind of looks decent. Again, it's a little on the cheaper side of stock, but that's okay. As far as the levels, I mean, pre-market, we're not going to really have any levels. Am I missing anything? Yeah. So there's not a lot of pre-market moves. So for like day trade purpose, I probably wouldn't trade it. For me, you do have a little bit of resistance, probably somewhere right at this 550 zone, 553-ish. If we could break through that, yeah, we got some little levels, 573, and then the next one probably 592, and then really up to probably 637 is where we start to see some of that resistance again. So it's got a decent potential. It definitely has some kind of support. So trying to buy this thing as low as possible would make sense. Again, not one that I'd probably day trade, but if you want to swing, we did get a nice bounce off of a good volume area. So could make a case that this one might have some more room to attempt another bullish pop. But everything else in the market's been getting crushed, and this one's actually breaking out a little bit. So that looks decent. And Teladoc, TDOC. In a weird way, maybe it's another recession play. Kind of like we were talking about with Zoom. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, if we started to break out, we didn't quite break the range yet. But Teladoc, again, swing trade basis a little bit longer term. If we do start to break that pivot, we have zero volume. There's nothing in the way to stop us to get to the higher side. It's already 9:30. Oof. Man, what just happened? That's crazy. I was not paying attention whatsoever. YouTube, unfortunately, I got to let you guys go. We do have free week coming up, first week of August. Check out reallifetrading.com. You guys can trade with us all day, every day during that week, and check out